Hey, welcome back to River City Media. Special night for me tonight. It's Coach Rusty McIntyre, and it's somebody that I see every week. Coach McIntyre is building a program, been at Sequatchie County 2 years, young coach, and I've had the privilege to get to know him over the last couple of years. First of all, Coach, I just want to welcome you in, and we're just talking about getting ready for the summer. You got a couple of weeks, and you'll probably be working on that playbook and drawing up some depth charts.
Yeah, well, first, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's here. Summer's here. And, we start our summer workouts next week. So, we're ready to go, trying to get the school year finished up and, get down to the business of football a little bit.
I did see that you during your spring, first time that you really had Sam Evans as your starting quarterback. Do you work directly with the quarterback since you're kind of the offensive side of the football?
I have worked with quarterbacks in the past. Last season we had some late in the year coaching changes, and I actually worked more with our receivers. But this year I am going back to working more one-on-one with the quarterbacks and trying to get in their head. Last year we had a veteran that played a lot of football at quarterback, and he knew what we were doing, and just kind of trusted him to to do what we were coaching him to do. And now with Sam coming up, he's a different style of quarterback for sure. And I need to make sure I learn him, and he's learned me, because we need to be on the same page out there during the game. So I've made the decision to go back and coach the quarterbacks again this year. In the past, it is not something that I've done a lot. I've been kind of bounced around. I've done offensive line, I've done receivers, but I have coached quarterbacks before, so we're going to try it again.
Well, Coach, that leads great into the next question I had for you. You're still relatively young kids. Still, I would assume, I won't ask your age, but you're in maybe your 30 area. How did you get this? Do what? 30-ish?
I wish I was still 30.
Okay, well, you aren't far out of it, Coach, because I know what 50 looks like, and you're not near that yet.
Oh, I just turned 40 this year, so.
What was your journey to Sequatchie County? I know you played a little bit in college, and I know you played in high school, and it's kind of a journey for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I actually started out, I played at Decatur High School down in Decatur, Alabama, and played football, but actually played baseball in college. I went on to play a little bit of baseball at UAB. Had several knee surgeries that kind of derailed any kind of athletic career. So I was only there for a year or 2 years, actually. And then went back to school, or continued in school, decided to be a PE teacher, and had the opportunity to go back and start out coaching at Decatur High School again. And then, from there, I've kind of bounced around. My wife and I moved to Knoxville. I coached at Knox West for a little while. Our son was about a year old when we moved to Knoxville. And then our daughter was born after 3 years up there. And, my wife said, hey, I want to get back closer to family. So we ended up back in Alabama for a few more years. And I guess it was 2017. I ended up at Cleveland again. Coach Cummings was the head coach at Knox West when I went up there. And then when he was the head coach at Cleveland, he had offered me an opportunity to come up there with him. So went back there for a couple of years. Coach Cummings decided to make a change. So I actually left Cleveland and went to Fayetteville, where, funny thing is, the offensive coordinator that I had when I was a high school player got the head coaching job at Fayetteville, and he offered me a position there. So I went back there with him for a few years. And then from there came on up to Sequatchie. So we, along the way, we've kind of had stops here and there, and been kind of all over East Tennessee, North Alabama area.
Wow, Coach, I didn't realize how many places you had been. It is a thankless job to be a coach's wife sometimes. You talk about moving a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, but that's what you got to do if you really want to be a head coach at the high school level sometimes.
She knew that was a goal, a dream that I had to one day get this opportunity. And, she's been, I guess she's kind of been the one behind the scenes that's had to deal with a lot of the unseen things of, kids upset about moving, dad not at home, and she's just kind of taken all that and really just, been a champ. You always hear people talk about behind every good coach is a good wife, and that's what she's been. Really understanding. Our kids have moved around, and she's always been. If that's what we got to do, that's what we'll do. And thankfully, when we went to Cleveland, she was able to get in a job in the school system. She had always been a nurse, and she had always wanted to have a school schedule. And when we went to Cleveland, she actually began teaching medical science, and she's actually been teaching since then. So she really likes the schedule, and she likes being able to be home in the summers and be off at night. Things that early on she wasn't able to do, but she's been amazing of just understanding moving. Here and there, she's always told me the truth, told me how she felt about it, and kind of made the decision from there. But most of the time, she saw it as an opportunity for me and our family, and she's let's go. So we were counting down. We've been married 16 years, going on 16 years, and I think we counted down. We've moved approximately 11 times, so not always from one location or one state or one city to another, but maybe somewhere in town. So we've got that part of it mastered, but we hope not to do that for a while.
Coach, I said Watertown earlier, and you corrected. You said Fayetteville, but while you were at Fayetteville, you got to see what is every coach's. You got to see a championship team develop there. What and Knox West is a great program. Cleveland's a great program, but is there something that you saw in a program like Fayetteville that, as a more seasoned coach, you went, "That's what a championship level team looks like"?
And it's Fayetteville was a fairly new school. They were coming off a 1-9 season when we went there, and it's just like, man, they're athletes after athletes after athletes. There's some players there. And that always makes a big difference. But when I guess, that first year we finished 10-0 on the field, and then they ruled a player ineligible. We didn't make the playoffs. The same year we had a senior that was killed in a car wreck. And, it was just a really tough ending to a good year. And it really motivated the kids and that community, to kind of come back the next year and make a statement. And I guess when you look at the difference in the team, every day after practice, coaches would be in the coach's office, kids changing clothes, and before they left, it was almost every one of them would pop their head in the coach's office and, "Hey, love you, coach." And it was just a kind of a family atmosphere. We had a bunch of great kids that were fighting and playing for each other, and Coach Morrison and Kenny Morrison, every time I've changed jobs, every coach does things different. And, at first there's things, well, I've never seen it that way or this way, but he really brought out that family feeling and really is able to create an environment where, kids ready to go to war for each other, go to war for the coaches. And it was just a really good culture, good locker room and then some really talented players that provided us that opportunity.
Well, Coach, last year at Sequatchie County, you had to deal with some tough circumstances off the field too. And I felt like that's one thing we did see is being able to bring the community together and the football team come together and the community rally around. And I think somewhere during the year, the Sequatchie County kind of itself became part of the program. I really left last year feeling like we had rallied the team, and it was that team spirit.
Yeah, I've had to experience similar things in Fayetteville and then here. It was a really tough situation last year with
Absolutely
Austin, and having his brother still currently on the team was just adding a new dynamic to it. And then I'll give Caleb a lot of the credit for that rallying. This happened on Thursday night. And I didn't know anything about it until Friday morning, and the text message I got in the middle of the night was, that Austin had been in an accident, and his brother Caleb tell me where he's at, but he said, "I want to play tonight, coach." And then, I think the players were hurting, the team was hurting. We had a lot of guys that were real good friends with Austin. But when they saw Caleb's reaction, and, he still wanted to be there for the team, and he still wanted to play and represent Austin, and kind of, it kind of put it on everybody else to say, "Hey, this is what we're doing, and we're going to honor Austin the best that we can." And it just kind of brought together a closeness. We went together, played that game against Community that night, and then we had all these plans we were going to do for fall break, and they were kind of all just pushed to the side. Because, what do we need to do for Caleb and his family? And
absolutely,
just kind of brought everybody together. I would like to, I'd like to say that had something to do with that, but that's just more this community getting behind the team, and the team getting behind one of their brothers, and knowing that he was hurting, and just doing whatever we had to do for him.
And that night was a very emotional night on the field, and the staff. I cannot compliment the staff enough, and there was a lot of coaches that tired eyes that night. But still, all in all, last year, even though facing those circumstances, some good football was played on the field early on. You have to play South Pittsburg, coming off a state championship, and then Marion County. The team kind of answered early on at Marion County, Coach, and I thought that was one of the better efforts of the year.
Yeah, we're really young. Last year, we started 3 freshmen and played a lot of sophomores, so we were young, and we're just trying to convince the team that you can't be afraid of the name on the front of their jersey.
Yes, sir.
You got to go play the game to win. They're a bunch of 15, 16, 17-year-old kids just like we are. They're nothing to be afraid of. They're a good football team, but we got to go out and kind of control ourselves. And, we're playing the other team, but if we do what we're supposed to do, then we're going to have a really good shot. And, that game with Marion was back and forth. And for the fans, it was probably a fun game. For a coach, it was get a little stressful at times, but it was just kind of fun to see our kids finally just keep fighting. I don't think 2 years ago we had the belief that we could win a game like that. So it was just fun to see kind of that change.
Absolutely.
In mindset of, man, we're going to play regardless of who it is. And, I think we're continuing to work that way. We're trying to, we want to get to the point where Sequatchie is competing on a statewide level. And, our schedule for this coming year is a good bit different, and it's challenging. And, that's just, we got to play good teams if we want to get to where we can beat good teams and play on into November, trying to get to December. So it's just kind of a message I've been trying to send since I got here. We're trying to play on a statewide level where we're playing good teams. I believe that we can get there, or I wouldn't put them in that situation. But kids are just starting to buy in. It's just been fun to see.
Coach, the first thing I'm going to ask you about this year's schedule, and it is drastically different, If you've not seen it, it's available on the Facebook on the Sequatchie County football site for anybody that saw it. That team last year was successful, ended up making a playoff run. This year, up front, game one, battle for the stump. And, you see this on the college level some. You have kind of your in-state rival early in the year. Well, we all know what Sequatchie Bledsoe means on the field. Game one, August 18th, it opens up with the battle for the stump.
Yeah, Coach Tabor and I talked last year in pregame, and it was just kind of something we had mentioned. It was right in the middle of the season, and it's, both communities, they look forward to that rivalry so much, and there's so much on the line with that game that end of the year and kind of getting it out of the middle would benefit. And then in the end, we decided to try to move it to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What other way to motivate kids to have a good off season than know that they're opening up with their rival? But it's one of those things. Whether you win or whether you lose, you're beat up after that game, and we just felt like to play it at the beginning of the year. You got some time to recover and get ready for a playoff run. Because I don't know why it's this way, but there's a feeling that game decides if you have a good season or a bad season. You get it over with right out of the gate. So you still got a lot of football left. If you win, you come out and you're feeling good about yourself, and you set yourself up good for a good season. If you don't win, you got plenty of time to recover and still have an opportunity to accomplish the goals that we all really want. I mean, state championships is what we're playing for. And in the grand scheme of things, they're a 2A school, we're a 3A school. What happens between us, it only matters to our communities, and statewide, it doesn't matter about anything. So we decided to play at the beginning of the year. Everybody will be excited about football. It should be a good gate for both schools and a good kickoff to the season. But then in the end, I know we're wanting to compete on a state level, and I know Coach Tabor's wanting to compete on a state level as well. So we kind of get this one, get the excitement out of the way early in the year, and then focus on trying to make a run.
Coach, a couple of times I've been asked about this, and even more in 21 after Bledsoe lost the game, so beat up, so injured, that their season kind of fell apart. We kind of had about a 2-week kind of hiccup, and a lot of it, I think, sometimes has to do with how physical those type of games are. Do you feel you kind of mentioned it for overall program growth? It's got to feel like sometimes in the middle of that year you just get kind of, you're going to come out of that game beat and bang you do every Friday night. But it's a little worse when you play one of those kind of games.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get beat up throughout the year. But there's something to it, and everybody out there has been involved in a rivalry of some sort. But this means a lot, and Dunlap means a lot in Fayetteville. Yeah. Kids have been looking forward to this game their whole life, and then they get the opportunity to play in it. If they're lucky, they get to play in it 4 times, and then it's gone. So they put all their heart and effort into this game, and then they're going to lay their bodies on the line and get beat up and get back up because they have so much adrenaline going. They don't even know that they hurt themselves. And then when the game's over and then kind of reality sets in, win or lose, it's still tough to get back up again for the next week. So rivalry games are great, but they can also be difficult to recover from at times.
Coach, the next is at East Ridge, a game. We're on the road, but everybody can make that short journey over to East Ridge from Dunlap. And then a new region opponent on September the 1st is Watertown moving up to be in our region?
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Watertown other than they're traditionally a really
Very
good
good
football team. And, fortunately we get them at home this year as kind of our welcome to getting to know them. But, I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know that last year they played an unbelievably tough schedule. So their team is battle tested, and they're going to be ready to come in here, and they're going to play good football. I didn't have much say in that game, but in making our schedule, that's what we're trying to do, is prepare ourselves to play teams like Watertown and to be able to come out and compete, understand what it takes to beat a good football team. But they're going to be a tough challenge for our entire region. They're going to come in, and I think they're going to have some say in how this thing turns out.
Coach, the next 4 games, and we'll just take them as a group of game, is all out of conference, but they are very good football teams. We play South Pittsburg in Sequatchie County. We go to Marion, Coalfield, and then at Fayetteville. That is, where you stand. You talk about being a state competing. If you go through that 4, you pretty well know where you're going to stand as your football team.
Yeah, that's kind of I guess there's more than 2 ways, but in my mind, there's kind of 2 ways to make a schedule. You can schedule wins, or you can have a schedule to get you ready to win in November and December. And obviously, I believe in the latter. Let's schedule it so we're ready in November and December. And with South Pitt won the championship 2 years ago. Fayetteville won it in 20. Coalfield's been in the semifinals the last couple of years. Marion, always athletic, and one of the teams everybody's talking about in 2A football coming up. So, it is what it is. I tell our kids all the time, we're going to go play good people. I didn't schedule any just wins. If we show up, we're going to win. We're going to have to play good football, and just kind of hoping that, we see that and our kids realize we got to practice hard. We got to practice well. We got to prepare, because there's no let up games on the schedule. So we'll know what we got, and we're going to be young, and this season should help us, not just come playoff time this year, but in the future as a lot of our younger players get this experience going forward.
Coach, the region then falls September, after the September run we just talked about, October 6th at Community, a bye week October the 13th, then at Grundy October the 20th, and then Thursday night at Giles County. That is who last year was a very interesting football team, but that's kind of in that region where you've got to step up, and Giles County has been the class of the region the last couple of years.
Yeah, they've won it the last 2 years. But, before we get to them, Community, a lot of people don't realize that last year Community had a quarterback that was out, and a really dynamic running back receiver that was out when we played them. They got some talented kids, and I know that the receiver running back is back. So, I'm sure they'll have some new kids, and they're going to be improved from when we played them last year. And then, Coach Brian over at Grundy now, I think this will be his 3rd year. They're a well-coached football team, and
got better from Jamboree.
They've gotten better.
Yes.
When Coach Brian first got there, and I don't really know what to expect from them, but I do know that they'll be well coached, and we're going to have to play well, and those are going to be 2 tough games for us. And then Coach O'Connor and Giles, they've won the region the last 2 years, and In 2021, it was they beat us pretty handily, and it kind of I hated it at the time, but I do believe that it got our kids' attention on, hey, you want to compete on the state level, that's what you got to get to, and I think ever since then it's really kind of turned up our kids' work ethic in the weight room and in the off season, trying to catch up to Giles. And last year we had a good first half against them. They got away from us a little bit in the third quarter, but they're a really good football team.
Yeah.
Been in the semifinals the last 2 years, so they're still the top dog until somebody knocks them off. But that game did get moved to from Thursday to Friday.
Okay.
So it is a Friday night game.
Okay,
now,
good deal.
But, good football team. You want to be a state level team, then you got to be good teams. So that's Giles is just another opportunity that we'll have to go out and compete and see what we can do.
And Coach, getting away from the schedule a little bit, I want to take this last 15 or 20 minutes and we'll get you out of here. And I want to talk about your team in general. I get a lot of questions from other radio people or other newspaper people, or last year when we were up at Bledsoe, the TV station asked me about your offense. And I always say you spread people out to run the football. And I really believe there's a power running element to your football, your overall offensive philosophy. How do you view the running game when you're in 3 and 4 wide so much?
I still believe that you got to run the football if you want to win in November and December. You got to be able to run the football, but kind of high school football, we don't get to pick and choose who our players are, so we kind of got to fit what we do offensively to what they can do well. The last couple of years with Peyton Campbell at quarterback, he was really good with his feet and the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And he throw it well enough to keep people honest. So, we relied a lot more on our power run game, but we were, we could do a little enough on the outside to make teams respect that. This year, we're gonna we'll look the same before the play starts, but we'll play probably a little bit different based on the personnel and what they do well and what they can be successful with. But I guess the best way I'd say, we're a one-back gun, and we're going to fit that to our personnel the best we can. If that's 10 personnel, guys spread all over the field, we'll do it. If that's bringing a tight end and an H-back in the game and getting the power run game going, we'll do that as well. But I've always just kind of believed that at the high school level, the offense has got to fit the personnel. I can't make the personnel fit our offense. So the past couple of years, we've been a lot of power run game, triple option type stuff.
Yeah.
And, this year, we'll see what it morphs into between now and August, seeing what our up and coming young players can do and what our returners, what improvements they've made. But I just kind of always thought of it as, hey, we're gonna do it with what our kids do well and try to make the other team stop our strengths. So we'll see what it turns into this year.
Coach, an offense that's able to do that in high school, you said it best. I talked to Tyler Van at Sylvania a lot, and he always talks about, I've got to take my offense, and while I might want to spread it out, I've still got to get to the balls to my playmakers. Sounds like there's enough flexibility in that offense. If you've got great backs, you're going to get it to the backs. If you've got great wide receivers, you can get it to the wide receivers. When you go, is there an element that we may see a tight end get more involved in this offense, or could they down the road?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that's in my experience through the years, that H-back tight end, that you can kind of spread out.
Yeah.
And let him run routes and throw it to him, or you can bring him in the box and let him be that physical presence that you need him to be. That body type and kid that has those skills has been tough to find.
Yeah.
But, hopefully this coming year we've got some kids that they have the opportunity to be able to do that, and we hope to be able to implement the tight end a little bit more than we have. But I don't know. I don't know that it's the right way to look at it or not, but it's just going to, what gives us the best chance to be successful. And that's what we're going to do. If our guy bigger, stronger, more physical guys give us the best chance, then they'll be on the field a lot. If our more athletic receiver types are going to give us the best chance, then they'll be on the field a lot. So, you've seen us play enough to know that, this week we might be in 10 personnel,
yeah,
wide, and then next week we might have a tight end and a sniffer. It just kind of depends on matchups with the other team and who's healthy and who's not. And we'll just go from there.
I love it. Coach, coming out of spring, a lot of position battles still on the field, or I think that's one of the great motivators is when you've got young people fighting for playing time. So during this summer period, I'm sure you've got some great battles going, and those battles are what make you better on Friday night, is it not?
Oh, we've talked about it as coaches since I've been here. We've had some positions, and it's not really a battle. It's clear cut. This guy's our best option, and there's not really anybody pushing him, and which makes practicing efficiently and practicing hard difficult to do. But I'm really excited about this summer and upcoming season, because we should have enough depth and enough kids out to really challenge each other at practice and be able to make those a true competition to see who's going to get to play in time and who's not. We got some young kids that are getting a little older and getting more developed and are ready to try to take that step to really contribute to the team. And then the middle school has been
great,
really successful the last 2 years. So a lot of those players are coming up, and they got some talent, and they'll push some of our older kids a little bit. So I'm really excited about that dynamic of our team coming into this season.
Coach, funny, you keep leading me into the questions. I have one wrote down here. The success at the middle school, you kind of blend those staffs together a little bit. And I know they have their own head coach, but I really think that's part of the secret of long-term growth is developing those young players through middle school. When you as a head coach see your success at the middle school that we've had the last 2 or 3 years, it's got to make you excited. That's a great staff and a lot of great talent coming up to the high school level.
Yeah, Coach Faulkner does a really good job down there. 2021 when I first got here, it was after the dead period pretty much, and they were still wing T on offense, and he came to me and we talked about what they were going to do, and at that point in time, they had already had in, and I said, Coach, you just y'all do what you've been doing, and we don't want to change it, but you will look at some changes next year. And then in the off season, we sat down and talked. And he did an outstanding job of introducing our offense to the middle school.
Absolutely.
And doing it at a level that 7th and 8th graders can execute. Not trying to do too much. He did a really nice job. But I've been around, and as far as middle school, they've got the best program I've seen. He has them in here working out in the summer, and holding them accountable for their grades, and just doing all the right things. So, it's been it's been really nice, and it's been a pleasure working with Coach Faulkner and all those guys. So, they've also been blessed with quite a bit of talent the last couple of years. So hopefully that keeps coming. But he's always going to be competitive on the field. Just he does things the right way and gets a lot out of those kids. I got one that's about to be an 8th grader. And has really taken off since we moved here, and loves Coach Faulkner and really enjoys football. And, our numbers are growing, and I contribute a lot of that to him and getting them out in middle school and letting them enjoy it and have fun. But at the same time, they're learning a lot of valuable things about football. So that program has been a blessing, and I hope we keep together for a long time. Coach Faulkner, everybody sees the job he's doing, so hopefully we can keep him around.
Yeah, I've got to do the middle school championship the last 2 years, not to put Coach Faulkner on the hot seat. I sure enjoyed that the last 2 years. I'd like to do that again next year. So we just like to keep doing that one as long as we can. That Valley Championship's really a nice setup for the middle schoolers too, to compete at a high level.
Yeah, it's been a blessing for my family. I see it as a coach, and I know what it's doing for us. But then, seeing it in my own son and how beneficial it's been for him, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way about it. So it's just been a blessing.
Coach, bad thing, we're all dealing with it, but you're dealing with it on a higher level. I know you got a great quarterback club, but buses are about 4 times what they were 2 years ago. Helmets have went up, shoulder pads. What can we do as fans? What do we got fundraisers? Where can we donate money to or get involved in the quarterback club that just an average Joe can help the football program out?
I've been fortunate the last couple of years. We've got a way as a team. We've done one fundraiser in January and done really well with that. But I've also been really lucky with the quarterback club.
Got a great quarterback club, yes, sir.
There's a bunch of people in this community that are willing to help however they can. But as far as what you could do to help now, and that's we're putting together a program for the year that we do advertisements and things like that. Joey Evans is the current president, and he's hosting meetings once a month right now. But he's got people, they're donating protein shakes and protein bars and laundry detergent, things, cleaning supplies, things that you don't really think about. But, you got a bunch of 16, 17-year-old kids that are always hungry, and, that gets expensive to keep them to keep it up. So we've been blessed with a lot of donations towards that kind of stuff. But, fortunately for us, we've done pretty well in the fundraising department. We don't have to continue hitting up our community over and over and over again.
That's wonderful.
And we get a lot of support at the games, financially. If we just come to the game, come watch, come support these kids, and that the money off of ticket sales, we use it to kind of upgrade our equipment and pay for these buses and all this stuff that's involved. I was talking to somebody, and you look at it, by the time on a Friday night, every kid out there has got about $1,000 worth of equipment on, and it gets expensive. So just come support them at the games, and just let them know that you appreciate their hard work, because they've really worked hard this all season. And any type of, like I said, laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, things like that, everyday items that really add up. If you're able to donate those, we would appreciate it.
That's great, Coach. We are blessed to have one of the best quarterback clubs in Sequatchie County that I've been involved in. So that is a blessing. Just take the burden off of you. in the program.
It's been huge. It's been huge, you know. We just, like I said, we just changed. Sue Ann Lockhart was our president. And, her son graduated, and she kind of passed it over to Joey Evans. And, you know, it's just been a blessing that I just make a phone call, and those two were really always willing to help and do whatever they needed to do to make things happen. And it really is taking a lot to. People don't think about it. You're trying to get ready for a football game and game plan and pregame meals and bus. Who's driving the bus? How many buses do we have? Can we find a charter bus? And it was just a blessing to have them take a lot of that off my plate. So it's been you know, friends of mine that are at other places that I've talked to don't necessarily have all those resources and people willing to help. So it's definitely been a blessing.
Coach, we play in a beautiful stadium with field turf, and you're able to put the kids. One of the reasons I love doing high school football is I think we need to make it as special as we can for those young men. One of the things you do, Coach, is you put together some awesome uniform combinations, some different looks. Is that something that you do, or one of the assistants does? Or who kind of comes up with those combinations?
Well, it's a little combination of all. Some, you know, I let our seniors come in on Sunday and, you know, let them kind of pick out what they want to wear. And typically that's how we do it. Now, every once in a while, you know, we're on it's going to rain and we're on a grass field, and, you know, we don't want to wear all our bright white stuff. I'll come in and kind of give some suggestions, but mainly that's our seniors. That's kind of their reward of their hard work and their dedication to the program. You tell me what you want to wear, and that's what we'll wear.
Coach, I know interviews are a pain, but part of the job, and I appreciate your time. Anything else you want to get out there right now? Anything, shout outs, anything you've got on a personal level that you want to put out? And I appreciate your time again, Coach.
You know, I appreciate you doing this. It's you know, interviews and things like that. It is part of the job, but the whole goal is to promote our kids. And our kids have been phenomenal this off season, working really hard every day, and had good attendance, and they really got after it. So I appreciate you doing this to get them the recognition.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, just come support them and make them proud to wear the Sequatchie County uniform. You know, that's we're really blessed, like you said, of the stadium, the facilities, everything, and just the community support. So just keep supporting them, and we're going to keep working hard and trying to get some notoriety for some of these kids. And
absolutely,
you know, I will say that you know, I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, but I just, you know, with the school year ending and wrapping up, we were able to finish this semester and didn't have a single football player fail a class.
Amen.
So
that's great, Coach.
We were really able to improve academically over the last couple of years. So, and that's just a testament to the kids and how hard they're working. So just come support them. Let them know you appreciate the work they're doing, because whether they know it or not, every little kid in Sequatchie County wants to be them one day. And
yes, sir.
We're trying to put a good foot forward. So,
Coach, I tell people all the time, I'm in a 3A program, but I feel I'm in a 6A environment. So, and that's what we offer the kids. And if you've never took time to go down there on a Friday night, you don't know until you're there. And we need to pack that stadium out this year. And we pack it out every now and then, but we need to pack it out 5 times for the home season this year.
You'll definitely get a good football game if you come to Dunlap this year, because there's going to be some really good teams here, and you know, we're going to go out and compete and see what happens. So,
Coach Mack from Sequatchie County. Coach, I can't wait till the season. Enjoy your summer, and thank you for the time.
All right. I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Mack.